What's up, everybody? The VC here, coming at you with another video. The VC, the Villain Club. All right? I am the Villain Club because, well, sometimes I can say things that may not be a popular opinion, but at the same time, it can be. And so, but I think deep down, though, all right, we all have the same shared thoughts of common sense, right? That's what it's all about. Just kind of sharing my thoughts on the things I see, and I don't mind hearing your perspective on things as well. So if you want to shoot me a comment or share with me your thoughts, I'm good with that. I'm on Rumble, I'm on YouTube. You can find me on both outlets there. As sometimes YouTube can be a little finger happy on what do you call that, censorship, but Rumble just lets it fly. So subscribe, all right, hit the bell icon for the daily content. All right, so enough of that. Let's go. All right, let's talk about some things I've been wanting to cover the last couple of days. I just haven't really gotten to them because there's always other things that take precedence over what I want to talk about, and so it's just trying to get back on track here. So let's see here. The other day we talked about Al Green's punishment censure, waving his little stupid ass stick, right? And then of course you had Gavin Newsom talking with Charlie Kirk, and I mean it's obvious. I mean the question right here is, does Gavin Newsom want to be president? Of course, because he wouldn't be doing a podcast talking to conservatives and things like that if he wasn't trying to run for president. He's trying to appeal to people, right, in different ways, and kind of, in a sense, crossing the aisle, right, as politicians speak. And so you have that, right. We'll come back to this in a moment. A couple other things I wanted to cover this past week was, the sanctuary city mayors of Chicago, Boston, New York, and Denver. They had this little hearing thing right here, and so they were given, I don't know, to me they were dead to rights, but they try to justify their actions on why they do what they do, but they all look like morons. You know what I'm saying? That's because that's what they are. Like Democratic mayors, probably like 99% of them are morons, right? Because all they care about is stupid ass causes, right? And not really caring for the actual citizens, right? They take all our money, they spend it all, and then they expect us to pay more by taxing us more because they overspend money. That's just their MO. And you see it across the cities that Democrats run. You see it across different states if Democrats are running it. And it just sucks, They're garbage. They don't know how to manage nothing, and they're full of contradictions and full of bullshit. And look at what just transpired here. Trump cuts $400 million from Columbia University. So I want to look into that as well. See, so much shit going on, So let's see here. Where do I begin? All right. And of course, one thing I haven't talked about, maybe I'll talk about tomorrow, was the New York City situation itself. Governor and lieutenant governor at odds with one another. So, man, where do I begin? All right, let's go in chronological order here, since this exchange happened earlier in the week. Let's go take a look at this. The sanctuary city mayor.
Put in the work.
Idiots.
Break a record. Break another.
Who's the worst idiot when you look at
Mayor Johnston?
Who's the worst idiot when you look at the panel here, right? You got Adams, Johnson and Johnson, Johnson and Johnson, right? And then you have Wu here, right? I question myself if I would bang Wu or not. Like, it's one thing to bang all these different, like Democratic female politicians. Oh, by the way, Happy International Women's Day. All right. So in respect to all women, right? Not transgender women because they're not really women, but women. I love women. That's why I always point it out all the time when the ones I would I look at, but I would bang her, that sort of thing. So in light of all that, happy International Women's Day, by the way. And so going back to like Democratic female politicians who I bang, right? Like for example, let me see if I still have her up. Well, here's Lindy Lee, right? Sometimes I question myself if I would bang her or not. She's a little bit on the bony side, but I think in the end, it's a tough call. I think I would bang her though. All right, I would bang the bones out of her. So that's probably not a popular opinion, but I don't know. There's some appealing things about her. Like she doesn't look good there, but she looks kind of appealing there, right? I don't know. Her angles. I mean, who am I supposed to speak about? About women and stuff, right? But I would bang her. I think in the end, I would bang Lindy Lee. Another one I would bang is I would bang Shang. All these, female Democrats. I would bang Shang. Right? Shang Tao here. She got ran out of Oakland. But in the end, I'd bang her. I mean, look at her, man. Boobies are bouncing. I'd bang her. And so, and then going back, I don't know. I've been going back and forth thinking about if I would bang Wu or not. Like I would just bang the dumbness out of her because she's stupid. But maybe I would just bang her just because, like a milfy kind of. But she has really nothing to offer though. Just, she acts like she has compassion, but yet she approves abortion. So she cares about compassion of humanity and illegals and stuff, right? But yet you approve abortion. It's contradicting, right? Because that kills babies, but you approve illegals, right? So it doesn't make any sense, That's what Democrats are. They don't make no sense. All right. But yeah, going back to this though. So who's the dumbest among all those four? I would probably say Brandon Johnson, all right, Chicago mayor, and then a second would be Wu. So I would bang the dumbs out of her. Another dumb politician I would bang for Democrats that bang the dumbness out of them would be AOC. In the end, I would bang her. Like as stupid as she is, and she's like a little firecracker. Like she would probably be banging in bed too. All right, so that's enough of the progressive bangers that I would bang. All right, let's go on and let's see what happened here with this whole hearing earlier in the week.
Coming back to you, how much did your city spend on illegal immigration? Do you have a round number?
Over the last couple of years on all newcomers, whatever their status was, it's around $79 million since 2022.
$79 million. Mayor Johnson, Chicago. How much has the city of Chicago spent on illegal immigration?
If you're referring to the 2022 up to 2024 of the buses coming from Texas, roughly the same percentage of the state of Texas, about 1% of our overall budget.
What is that? Because we don't have the city's budget in front of me. Numbers.
It's 1%, and if you want the actual calculation, we can make sure someone...
You're the mayor. You don't have the math in front of you?
It's 1% of the overall budget over the last 4 years.
That's why you're a failing
which
mayor.
is
Mayor
the same
Adams,
number that was sent from us from the
How much did the city of New York actually spend on illegal immigration? Mayor Johnson, I already asked you.
How can you not have a number like that? Like how much of the budget was spent on illegals? But yet, that's why he has like a 6% or 7% approval rating in Chicago, right?
Don't have a hard number. And if you don't have a hard number, you're not running your city well. Mayor Adams, how much did the city of New York actually spend on illegal immigration?
$6.9 billion of taxpayers.
$6.9 billion of taxpayer money on a problem that was fostered on the American people. Mayor Wu, in the city of Boston, how much did you spend?
We don't ask about immigration status and delivering city services.
You don't ask about how much money the city of Boston has spent on illegal immigration? Are you out of your mind?
We don't distinguish between immigration status.
Do you manage your budget or not, Mayor Wu?
That is how we keep our city safe.
Mayor Wu, do you manage your budget or not?
We have the numbers to prove it. I manage my budget. I have a AAA bond rating dating back 10 years.
So to the city of Boston, just understand that your mayor does not care how much of your resources she has spent on people who are not citizens of the city of Boston.
Is sick of having people outside Boston telling us what we
Mr. Bear, I have a question for you because I understand Cato's perspective when it comes to illegal immigration. I understand
See,
that
what
the
a
Cato
bitch,
Institute
man.
for a long time has had a standard of actually having open immigration into the United States. Generally speaking, I don't want to get into specifics.
We support legal immigration. We want immigration to be legal.
So let me ask you this question, because one of the great libertarians of the modern era, Milton Friedman, famously said, you can either have open borders or a welfare state, but you have to choose. Mr. Beer, what do you choose?
Milton Friedman said he wanted to allow illegal immigration to continue. I disagree with Milton Friedman's position on that. We should have legal immigration and build a wall around the welfare state, not around the country. That's in the best interest of taxpayers.
And I would argue that under the current system where you have sanctuary cities popping up, it is not possible to build that wall. So America has to choose. Mr. Beer, you're done. America has to choose between securing our nation or protecting the taxpayer. I choose secure the nation. I yield back.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird how you can't have it both ways. It's fine to have immigration, but you can't have illegal immigration, just open borders and let people walk in, right? You got to go through the process and do all that stuff, right? So, you can't just, willy-nilly just walk in and say, okay, I'm here. No, and set up shop. It doesn't work that way. So, it's just stupid-ass shit, right? Can't even answer your own numbers. And then, I don't know, that's just stupid. Come on, like, really? So, they all defend, that's the hearing, that's the stuff that you were hearing at that hearing, was all this stuff. Yeah, and it's just stupid. Democrat mayors make jaw-dropping confession on when asked how much. So we covered that part. And two of them didn't even answer the question, like how much money was spent. They can't even answer the question. One of them can't answer. The other one just didn't want to answer it clearly. Wu just did not want to clearly answer it. Talking about, well, we're not, tapping into the identities. And I was like, we're not asking about that. We're just asking how much money you spent. Well, we don't take information on whether or not we, illegal and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, get the fuck out of here. It's like, come on, stop it already. Just, do you just give us a number, like how many billions of dollars you spend? Because in Boston, it's a larger city, it's in the billions. Chicago, it's in the billions, all right, on that. So yeah, it's just idiocracy, Democrat idiocracy. It's kind of continuing on with what I covered yesterday, right? Democrat clowns. This is what these are. These are Democrat clowns. Let's see what Nancy Mace said here to them.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All of the mayors here today are actively working to harm the American people you represent. You all have blood on your hands. I'm going to ask a series of yes or no questions today, and I would like to remind all of you, you are under oath. I only want a yes or a no to my questions. My first question, do you acknowledge breaking into our country as a crime? Mayor Adams, yes or no? Do you acknowledge breaking into our country as a crime?
I acknowledge.
Yes or no?
I acknowledge.
Okay, Honorable Johnson, he's not going to answer the question. Yes or no? Is breaking into our country against the law? Yes or no?
Depends how you cross the border.
Okay, Mayor Johnson, yes or no?
Comprehensive immigration reform policies are
Can't you answer the questions? Answer the damn question.
Yes.
Okay, do you believe it's acceptable for illegals who commit heinous crimes be released back into the public instead of being detained and deported? Mayor Adams, yes or no?
Anyone break a crime?
Yes or no? This is not hard. Yes or no?
Anyone that break a crime should be detained.
Okay, Mayor, yes or no?
They should be deported.
Okay, Mayor.
Any individual that causes harm and breaks the law
Mayor Wu?
should be held accountable.
This is why you have 6% approval rating, because you suck at answering questions. Mayor Wu? Yes or no?
Anyone who's a public safety threat should be prosecuted.
All right, I have my next question. When an illegal alien rapes a woman, do you believe you're on the right side of history? Mayor Adams, yes or no?
Can we say that question again?
Okay, Mayor Johnston. When a legal alien rapes a woman, do you believe you're on the right side of history? Yes or no?
I will charge and prosecute them.
Yes or no? Okay, well, okay. You said you would go to jail, didn't you?
I will
for
charge
harboring
and
illegal
prosecute
aliens or something, Mayor Johnson?
Could you repeat your question, please?
When an illegal alien rapes a woman, do you believe you're on the right side of history?
Could you clarify that question?
Okay, Mayor Wu, yes or no?
No, rape is obviously
Then
horrible.
why are you letting rapists back out onto the streets of Boston?
That is not true. That is
Okay.
not what's happening in
When
Boston.
an illegal alien molests a kid, molests an underage kid, do you pat yourself on the back for being compassionate? Mayor Adams?
It's despicable, and he should be arrested.
Mayor Johnston?
I prosecute folks that commit crimes like that.
You
Not
guys let them out on the
illegals.
streets. Mayor Johnson?
We arrest violent criminals in the city of Chicago.
Mayor Wu?
We investigate, arrest, and prosecute.
Yeah, you're common
You guys
people,
don't
but
sound
not
very
illegals, right?
confident today.
Supposedly.
Would your city honor an ICE detainer on an illegal alien who rapes kids if one was issued today? Mayor Adams? Yes or no?
In conformance with law, we will honor detainers.
Mayor Johnson?
If there's a criminal warrant, we'll help them pick them up. If there's no criminal warrant, we'll honor a notification request.
Mayor Johnson?
Criminal warrants, we always cooperate with federal agents with a criminal warrant.
Mayor Wu?
Get a criminal warrant, we will enforce.
A criminal warrant. I'm talking about an ICE detainer on an individual who's here illegal who rapes kids. Do you all hate Donald Trump more than you love your country? Mayor Adams?
I respect my president. I respect my
Yes
country,
or no?
and I
You're having the
respect
hardest time
my
today.
Senate.
Mayor Johnston?
I love my country.
Yes or no?
I love my country.
Mayor Johnson?
As the son of a pastor, I love everyone and this country.
Mayor Wu?
I love my country and my city.
They're not even answering the question.
Are
Bunch
you
of
all willing
dummies.
to go to jail for violating federal law? Mayor Adams?
I'm not going to violate federal law, so I don't have to worry about that.
Mayor Johnston?
We don't violate federal law either.
You don't violate federal law.
We do not violate federal law.
Is it violating federal law if you don't honor detainer requests from ICE?
Absolutely not. In fact, the statute Congressman Biggs shared, we explicitly follow. The statute says you cannot prohibit city employees from sharing information about someone's status with the government. We do not prohibit that.
Do you love illegal aliens more than you love your fellow countrymen?
I love all the residents of the city and county.
Mayor Johnston, are you willing to go to jail for violating federal law?
The city of Chicago complies with all laws.
Oh, I highly doubt that. Mayor Wu?
We are not violating federal law.
Mayor Wu, I have a last couple questions for you. Do you believe that ICE arresting a child rapist, quote, threatens everyone's safety, end quote? Yes or no?
No.
Does ICE arresting a murderous MS-13 gang member threaten everyone's safety? Yes or no?
No.
I would like to hold up this quote of you where you say ICE's efforts actually threaten the safety of everyone, end quote, Boston Mayor Michelle Wu. You're a hypocrite. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I yield back.
If you're looking to sell your car...
Fascinating stuff. And then this would be the last piece of this thing I wanted to share.
Chair now recognizes Ms. Luna from Florida.
Mayor Wu, does the Boston Trust Act restrict communication with federal immigration authorities regarding individuals' immigration status, yes or no?
We do not collect immigration status in law enforcement.
I'd just like to point out, and Mr. Chairman...
So there you go. If they don't collect immigration status in law enforcement, then that's the problem with the whole, how they didn't prosecute the whatever rapist and all this other stuff. But yeah, it's kind of contradicting because then why are they released back in the streets if, and I don't know. It's just these stupid sanctuary cities. None of this stuff makes any sense with them.
If I could enter the Boston Trust Act into the record. Mr. Chairman.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you. On section 4AA, a law enforcement official and employee.
And for International Women's Day, I'll throw out some other names I would bang. Nancy Mace, Anna Paulina Luna, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I would bang all three of them.
Employment of the city department, agency, or commission shall not, and then A, inquire of an individual on his or her immigration status. Under Title 8, U.S. Code subsection 1373 stipulates that local governments cannot prohibit or restrict communication with federal immigration authorities regarding individuals' immigration status, so your enforcement of this act is in direct violation of that statute. Can you please confirm?
That is not
Thank
the
you,
truth.
ma'am. That's a U.S. code. I don't know about you, but U.S. code does not lie.
We do not ask about
Mayor
immigration
Johnson, I'm not
status, and that
talking
is
to you
what
anymore.
makes
Next
us safe in
question,
the city.
Mayor Johnston, you said in your testimony that the first step you took after illegal aliens arrived was to provide them with housing. Is that correct, yes or no?
Folks that were on the streets freezing to death, we gave access to shelter. Yes, we did.
Thank you. Not to be rude here, but you have a good understanding of what the definition of harboring is, correct?
I do.
Okay. For those that might not, harboring means to knowingly or recklessly provide shelter or place to stay for an illegal alien. And according to Title 8 of U.S. Code subsection 1324, that is also a federal crime. Just to be clear, did you also say that you would be willing to go to jail to stop deportation efforts?
He did say that.
I did say that I'd be willing to stand up for all of our residents, and the
changing his
context
words.
that was the point at which the administration was threatening to deploy the U.S. military to streets of our cities to
Okay.
pull kids out of schools and churches.
Thank
so we
you.
were worried about that.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Chairman,
But he changed the words. He said he's willing to go to jail, right?
I'd like to enter into the record an article from CBS.
Without objections ordered.
Thank you. In this, it says, Johnston said earlier this week that he's willing to use civil disobedience and, if necessary, going to jail to stop deportations. My final question would be for you, Mr. Mayor Johnson. Do you believe that Chicago's welcoming city ordinance encourages illegal aliens to enter the United States, specifically into Chicago? Yes or no?
Yes.
No.
Okay. So you don't believe that banning the transfer of individuals into ICE custody for the purpose of civil immigration enforcement encourages illegal immigration into Chicago? Or how about agencies, sorry, one second, or agents not being able to stop, arrest, or detain individuals based solely on their immigration status or administrative warrant?
So we comply with all laws, local, state, and federal.
To me, after this line of questioning, it's very clear that these policies that
all these things are violating federal law.
you have all implicated are active and alive and well in your cities are in direct violation with U.S. Title 8 Code subsection 1324 and is a federal offense. But you all speak about a broken immigration system, and yet here you guys are aiding and abetting in that entire process. I want to be very clear about something. Open border policies, which is something that you guys are talking about, hurts people on both sides, meaning the people that are coming here illegally and then American citizens as well. I do not think you guys are bad people, but I think that you are ideologically misled, which is why, unfortunately, based on your responses,
They're not bad, they're just stupid.
Going to be criminally referring you to the Department of Justice for investigation. And as soon as I leave here, these will be
There it is.
to Pam Bondi. I'm not doing that in an effort to bully you guys, but I do believe that your policies are hurting the American people, and you can make that known with the evidence that you can present to the Department of Justice. But if you guys continue doing what you're doing, you're not going to help anyone. You're going to hurt more people, and that's exactly why I'm tired of it. The American people are tired of it. And Chairman, I yield my time.
Would you yield your last minute?
Yes, sir.
But Mayor Adams, you were one of the first mayors in what the media refers to as a blue city, typically, that came out and raised concerns about the influx of illegals pouring into the city of New York. Could you answer the question, what that did to New York City from a budgetary standpoint? Let's not even talk about crime or anything. Let's just talk about from a budgetary, the burden on the citizens of New York City.
As I indicated, Mr. Chairman, we spent $6.9 billion, and the long-term impact of that is extremely significant. After COVID, we had a large number of children who was chronically absent. We could have taken $200 million of that and dealt with that. We have a real mental health crisis in our city. We could have spent hundreds of millions of dollars on that. And so the long-term impact of spending $6.9 billion is going to have serious ramification on the future of.
So there you go. You missed that. It's a big problem, right? So I don't know. It's just that's why what they did was wrong, and they should stop. But they're not stopping. I mean, Adams is slowing it down and reversing course slowly, but the other three numbnuts aren't. California isn't. And we need to put a stop to illegal immigration. And so that's where it's at with that. Let's see what this is about here. Gavin doesn't want to be president. Of course, that's an easy question to answer.
I want to buy your house. I can pay you cash for your house
Easy
no
one.
matter
That's
what condition it's in.
Can't get any easier than that.
Turning Point
So
founder,
obvious.
CEO Charlie Kirk. Charlie, great to have you. So last night, I knew you were on the show tonight. I tuned in, and I was listening to the podcast, and I didn't get through all of it, but first of all, you were very gracious. You were very nice. You could have gone at him really, really hard. You did it in a really nice way, and I know Gavin too well. I've interviewed Gavin. I moderated, I think you brought it up, I moderated the debate with DeSantis. And I have tried to reason with this man, and he does not listen, ever.
Gavin Newsom's
Maybe,
a scumbag.
is this a tipping
He's a
point for him?
weasel.
Did you get the feeling he really wants to change?
He's a weasel.
I don't know. I think he wants to be president, Sean, more than anything else on the planet. I think you can agree he has more political ambition than almost anybody in the Democrat Party. And I think he understands that the entire country is moving center-right and is accelerating at a rapid pace. In fact, we are course-correcting after 4 failed years under Joe Biden and all of the woke stuff and the anti-common sense movement. Gavin Newsom had me on his podcast, and I was shocked all of a sudden where he decided to diverge away from the orthodox opinion in the Democrat Party, which is as simple as saying that it's not fair that a biological man can compete in female sports.
Yeah.
Now, number one, I don't believe that he actually has any heartfelt beliefs in this. I think it's purely political transactional.
Yep.
However, everybody in the audience should understand this means that we are winning.
He's going to flip-flop on everything just to try to win people over in the votes and all. Just like how Kamala was doing about how, oh, my values haven't changed. And then she'll say things like she doesn't approve fracking, but yet she'll flip-flop and says, okay, she approves fracking now. And all these other things, right, that like, flip an opinion just to try to pander to get people to support her, right? It's like what Bernie Sanders said. Bernie Sanders said something to the tune of, well, it's not verbatim, but he says something to the tune of, she's gonna go where the wave flows. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's going one way, she doesn't go with that to make it look like it, right? But she really doesn't believe it. She's just trying to do it just to win people over falsely, right, on a false pretense, and that she's just so full of shit. And I think people saw through that the flip-flopping and that my values haven't changed, to me, was the very key line that she says, that although she'll flip-flop on the issues, her values haven't changed, meaning that, well, nah, she's not really going to believe in that and go in that direction. She says it. She's not going to do it. All right? She's all for the border wall now all of a sudden, right? But she's not going to stop it. She's not going to build the wall if she becomes president. This is what this scumbag is going to do, too. He's going to flip-flop on things, and it's going to raise eyebrows. But at the same time, the whole Democrat progressiveness of him and his past and reputation really shows that he doesn't give a shit. Because if he does give a shit now about this whole it's not fair with trans women and men in women's sports, right? Why don't you do something about it right now while you're still in power in California to stop all that?
At such a rapid pace that the governor of the largest state in the country, the largest Democrat state, who obviously wants to be president, has to adjust his policies against the base of the party to even be taken seriously to run for president in 2028.
Okay, but the problem is
you got to take the
about
action.
Political expediency if he's going to change his core beliefs. And here would be the biggest problem that I would see that he has. He has something called a track record.
Yeah.
He's been in government. He's the mayor of San Francisco, lieutenant governor for 8 years.
Yeah, everything
At the
about
end of this
him.
term, he'll have been governor for 8 years. He has a track record. So I don't think you get to run away from the positions you have been holding for decades just by talking to conservatives like Charlie Kirk. He never invited me on the podcast. I'm offended, by the way. I'm very offended. I feel left out.
Well, you should text Gavin. And secondly,
I
you're
already
exactly
did.
right, Sean. There was a moment of
Before you went on, I texted
there was a
him.
moment of podcast.
Yeah.
Well, no, look, there was this back and forth where I drilled him. I said, look, you have the highest cost of living in California. You have the most homelessness in the country in California. You have the highest poverty rate in the country in California. You have the second highest home prices in the country. You guys control the House, the Senate, the governor's mansion, lieutenant governor's mansion, secretary of state, and attorney general, and every statewide elected office for the last 20 years. How is this Republicans' fault? What record are you going to run on? And you could, every time there's anything California specific, you know this from moderating the wonderful DeSantis debate, he gets hyper aggressive and focuses on one little minute detail, and he just tries to bring you down into the ditch. But everyone has been voting with their feet when it comes to California over the last couple of years. They have net population loss. People are leaving in record numbers. They also had the highest gas prices, unnecessarily highest gas tax. And so, look, there's nothing to run on except for the fact that he is very slippery and slick, and he's trying to reinvent and rebrand himself. And look, I'll talk to anybody at any time. There was a whole part, too, where I even got him to tacitly admit that President Trump is unlike any other cultural phenomenon we've ever seen. He's like, oh, yeah, I went to the Oval Office with President Trump, and I had a great time with him. I said, well, are you going to work with President Trump with ICE and immigration and Border Patrol? Nope. And, of course, he had a slick answer to that as well. But I think there's a looming Democrat civil war happening because Gavin Newsom is realizing that if he does not come to the middle on a lot of issues and magnify some of his positions, there will be no chance for him in a general election.
I agree.
But President Trump has completely remade the American body politic, and you can start to see the most opportunistic Democrat of them all, Gavin Newsom, at least attempting to adjust with some of his rhetoric. We'll see if his actions follow.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
He definitely needs to follow through with the action and not just say it, right? All these words, right? Because so far, look at what he's done for California, right? It's completely destroyed California. So, yeah, interesting stuff here. So we talked about all that. What else we got here? So we talked about the sanctuary city stuff. The whole Gavin Newsom reversing course on how it's not fair for men to be in women's sports all of a sudden, huh? So pretty funny how that is. And what's also interesting, besides this too, look at this stupid ass, dumbasses here holding up signs, right, during the joint speech address there. Just wanted to throw that out there. Look how stupid they look, holding the little paddles and stuff. Bingo, right? And so, so that's where it's at here. It's amazing. Look at this. You need more than a passport to get into Mexico, right? It's amazing how if you have enforcement, how things can change, right? Just simply enforcing, all right? Lastly, you know what? We'll keep it New York-based tomorrow, all right? Unless something kind of goes off. We'll do a New York-based content tomorrow with the whole governor and then this whole Columbia University thing here happening with the cuts. I think we'll keep it at that right now. So with that, comment down below. Let me know what you think about all that. Right? More Democrat clownsmanship. All right, and it's so easy, right? Of course, Gavin wants to be president. Duh. Right? But saying things and doing things is two different things, right, Gavin? Anyhow, comment down below, subscribe. I have YouTube, Rumble, daily content. Subscribe. And thank you for your support. I'll see you next one.